Hello, welcome back. So now in this part, we will solve a design example based on the two-way slab. So this is the problem that we are going to solve. So in this, the slab of a residential building of size 4.3 meter by 6 meter is simply supported on all the four sides on 230 walls. Now assuming an imposed load which means the live load is 2 kilonewton per meter square, and the load due to the floor finishing, the slab finishing, it is 1 kilonewton per meter square. uh, yes, it is actually a floor slab, so we have to design the floor slab in this, and the material that we are going to use is concrete of M25 grade and steel of Fe 415 grade. And here we are assuming that the exposure condition is mild. So this mild exposure is given for assuming the clear cover. So here our first step is to initially estimate the thickness of the slab based on the serviceability limit state criteria of the deflection. So we have discussed some guidelines regarding the initial estimation of the thickness of the slab. So that is L by D ratio for simply supported slab as per clause 24.1. We have seen this clause for FE 415 because we are using FE 415. So here the ratio which is given in the IS code will be multiplied by zero point 0.8, and by multiplying zero point 0.8 we get the ratio as 28. So using this we will be estimating the depth. Well, we also need to consider that this ratio is valid only when the shorter span is up to 3.5 meter, while in our case the shorter span is 4.3 meter, but still we will be using the same ratio to calculate the initial estimate, to have the initial estimation of the thickness. So yes, we can do that. So therefore the value of D in this case will be 4.3 meter divided by 228. So with that, we will get the uh, thickness of the slab, which is 153.5. So we will round off this value to the higher side so that we will be on the safer side. And our slab span is also higher than this. So therefore, we will be round off this value to the higher side, which is 160. So taking the value of D, which is overall depth of the slab as 160 mm. So here now we will work out the effective depth along shorter span and effective depth along the longer span also. So for effective depth, we also require to have the diameter of the bar. So say the diameter of bar is 10 mm dia, and from table 16 in the IS code is for the clear cover or the nominal cover. So in the table 16, we see that that the nominal cover is based on the exposure condition, and exposure is already provided in our problem, which is mild exposure. So here for M25 grade of concrete and mild exposure, using the table 16, we get the clear cover as 15 mm. Now we will find the depth along shorter span and effective depth along the longer span. So for example, our slab will be something like this. And in this, if we provide this reinforcement, say this is the bottom reinforcement, and above it, we will be having the top reinforcement. So generally, this bottom bar will be along the shorter span in the slab. So therefore, the effective depth along for the shorter span will be this one. So we will name this as dx, which means effective depth for the shorter span. Similarly, for longer span, the main bar will be which is placed above this bar. So generally for the longer span, the effective depth will be calculated from the center of the bar provided along the longer span to the topmost fiber. So here this will be dy. So first we will calculate the dx value. So dx is 160 overall depth minus clear cover minus half of the dia of bar. So say we are assuming that this is the 10 mm dia bar. Also, we will assume that these bar are 10 mm dia bar. So now to calculate the value of dy, it will be dx minus half of this bar and half of this bar. So therefore it becomes 140 minus half of this bar and half of this bar, it becomes 10. So therefore the depth for longer span it is 130, depth for shorter span it is 140 mm. So we will be using these different value of depth for different, for the respective span. Wherever we will be needed to put this value, we will put accordingly. Now the next step is to calculate the effective span, which is Lx and Ly. So here the first we will calculate the Lx value, and we know that Lx value for simply supported slab will be the lesser of clear span plus effective depth. This is what we have done in one-way slab also. So in this it will be effective depth, because we are calculating for shorter span. So for shorter span we will be using d as dx. So clear span plus dx, it is 4440 mm. Similarly, second aspect is center to center of the support. So center to center of the support is uh, clear span plus half of the support from one end and half of the support from the other end. So support is already given in the problem. So by adding this, we get the center to center of support as 4530. So the lesser value of these two will give us the effective span along the shorter span. So the effective span is 4.4 meter, which is the Lx value. Similarly, on the same line, we will calculate the effective span for longer span also. But here we will have the two aspect, and in the first aspect, it will be clear span plus effective depth. And effective depth this time we will be taking for the longer span, which is dy. So putting the value, we get the span as 6130. Similarly, for center to center of support, it will be 6000 plus 230, which is 6230. So the lesser value in these two is 6130. So therefore the shorter, the longer effective span becomes 6.13 meter. So this is how we calculate the Ly and Lx value in case of two-way slab. And also at the same time, we can find out the aspect ratio also. Aspect ratio is Ly by Lx. So putting the value, we get the aspect ratio as 1.38. So this aspect ratio will be used to calculate the bending moment coefficient. So now moving to the next step. So step 3, in this we have to calculate the load on the slab. So the way we have calculated load in one-way slab, on the same way we will calculate load on the two-way slab also. So here we will calculate dead load and live load on the unit area, because we are going to consider only the unit strip. So whether we consider the unit strip along longer span or the shorter span, ultimately we will be calculating load on the unit area also. So this we consider as unit area, which is of 1 meter from this side and 1 meter from this side. So ultimately we are going to calculate load on this unit area only. So in the dead load, we have first the self weight of the slab. So self weight of the slab for unit area will be uh, thickness of the slab multiplied by unit area, which is 1 into 1 multiplied by the density of RCC. So we get the self weight of slab as 4 kilonewton per meter square. Similarly, dead load due to finishing. So finishing load is already given, which is 1 kilonewton per meter square, which means on unit area, the dead load for the finishing is 1 kilonewton. So that is already given. Similarly, now we will find out the live load also. Total dead load becomes 5 kilonewton per meter square. Now we will calculate the live load. Live load is also given in the question, which is 2 kilonewton per meter square, which means on unit area, we have live load as 2 kilonewton. So now adding both the dead load and live load to calculate the factored load. So in the factored load, we will multiply with the load factor, which is 1.5 for dead load and live load. So we get the factored load as 10.5 kilonewton per meter square. So that becomes our factored load. Now using this factored load, we will calculate the design moments for the strip with 1 meter width in each the direction. So here we are actually going to calculate mx and my. But to calculate mx and my, we will be required to find out the value of alpha x and alpha y. Now alpha x and alpha y is dependent on the Ly by Lx ratio. So here first we will refer to the table 27, and there we will see what will be the value of alpha x and alpha y for the ratio 1.38. So this is the table that we are going to use to calculate the value of alpha x and alpha y. So now here you can see the value of Ly by Lx in our case is 1.38. Now for 1.38, we can't find the value of alpha x, alpha y directly. Here we have to do the interpolation. So here the value of alpha x for 1.3, Ly, when the value Ly by Lx is 1.3 is 0.093, and when it is 1.4 it is 0.099, and because our value is lying between 1.3 and 1.4, so that is why we are taking this. So when the aspect ratio is 1.3, then the value of alpha x is 0.093. Similarly, when it is 1.4, it is 0.099. So we see that as the value is increasing, the value of alpha x is also increasing. So here the alpha x value for 1.38 aspect ratio will be 0.093 plus the difference of these two. So that is 0.99099 minus 0.093 upon the difference of these two, which is 1.4 minus 1.3, multiplied by the required value, which is 1.38, minus the minimum value, which is 1.3. So this is how we do the interpolation for alpha x, and by solving this we get the value of alpha y, alpha x. Similarly for alpha y also we will be doing the same. In the alpha y for 1.3 the alpha y value is 0.055, and for 1.4 it is 0.051. So in this case you see as the value is increasing, the value of alpha y is decreasing. So therefore here as I have done, I have provided plus sign here because the value is increasing for alpha y, but for alpha x, but for alpha y the value is decreasing. So therefore we will provide here the negative sign. So by solving this we get the alpha x and alpha y. So now again moving to the slide. So by solving this we get the alpha x value as 0.098 and alpha y as 0.0515. Now putting this value in the formula of mx and my. Now mx, which is the bending moment along the shorter direction, is given by this formula alpha x wu into Lx. So Lx is the effective span, wu is the factored load, alpha x is the bending moment coefficient for the x direction. So putting all the values, we get the value of mx as 20.28 kilonewton meter. Similarly for my, we have the same, we have the formula with alpha y coefficient. So here again putting the value, we get the value of my as 10.66 kilonewton meter. Please do not confuse with this Lx in these two terms. For both the formula, we will be using Lx only. We will not use Ly for my. So here we will use Lx only. So please remember that. Now here we have calculated the bending moment along the shorter span and along the longer span. So in these two values, the maximum bending moment is occurring along the shorter span. So therefore, we will be checking the I mean, we will check the depth required for the maximum bending moment, which is 20.28. So as we have done in the previous lecture also, for in the one-way slab design, we will first use the equation of balanced section, and here we will equate, I mean, we will put mu limiting, I mean, we will put maximum bending moment in place of mu limiting, and we know that this formula is for the balanced section. So here we are assuming that our section is balanced, and in the balanced section, when we have this bending moment, then what will be the D required in our case. So here, putting all the values here, axiomax is 0.48 D, uh, which we already know in this case. So putting all the values here, D required will be cancelled out with this will be cancelled out with this. So only unknown value here is D required square. So solving this equation, we get the D required as 78.3 mm. So here you can see for maximum bending moment, only 78.3 mm depth is required, while we have provided 140 mm for the shorter span. So which means we have provided depth more than required for the bending moment. So it means we are on the safer side. So we say that the assumed depth which we have assumed in the first step is safe or adequate. Now we will move to the next step, which is design the reinforcement. So here we will design reinforcement along the shorter span, along the longer span, and the distribution reinforcement. So here now from step 4, it is confirmed that the depth we have provided is more than required. So therefore our section will be automatically will be the under reinforced section. So therefore we will use the equation of under reinforced section to calculate the area of steel. So here in the slab we will find out reinforcement for the shorter span and reinforcement for the longer span, and also reinforcement as distribution reinforcement. Okay, so there we will find three types of reinforcement. So first we will find reinforcement along the shorter span, and we are naming this as AST X, which means area of steel in tension along the X direction. So X direction we are considering as shorter, and Y direction we are considering as the longer span. So ASTX will be calculated by using the relation. So this relation is for the under reinforced section, and it is confirmed now that the depth we have provided is more than required. So therefore the section is under reinforced. So therefore we can use this equation to calculate the value of ASTX. So here putting all the values, the only unknown value here is ASTX. So solving this equation, we get the quadratic equation, and further solving that quadratic equation, we will get two values. One is the higher value and the second one is the lower value. So we will adopt the lower value, lower positive value. And by solving that equation, we get the lower positive value as 402 mm square. So that is the area of steel along the X direction for the unit strip. So basically, we provide this area of steel in the form of reinforcement. So basically in this, we will calculate the spacing of reinforcement along the shorter span. So spacing of main reinforcement along the shorter span can be calculated by using this relation, which is A phi into 1000 by ASTX. A phi is the area of cross section of one bar, 1000 because we are calculating this spacing for the unit strip, which is 1 meter. So this becomes 1000 mm, and ASTX is the area of steel required in that unit strip. So with this, we can calculate the spacing, which is 195.27. Now, this is the spacing that is required in the reinforcement, but we have to check this spacing for the IS code recommendations also. So as if we refer to this clause of IS code, which is 26.3.3, so as per this IS code, the spacing of main reinforcement should be the least of the calculated value, which is 195.27. Second is 3 times the effective thickness provided, which is 3 times of dx, because we are calculating for the shorter span. And calculating this, we get the 420 mm, and third one is the 300 mm. So in these three value, the lower value is 195.27. So we will provide reinforcement with this much spacing. So the spacing adopted is 195, but we will again round off this value to the lower side to get a round figure. So basically we have round off this value to 190. So we always round off this value to the lower side to get the more bar than required. So this is our main reinforcement along the shorter span, and this is the bottom layer. And because this is the bottom layer, so we will calculate the percentage of reinforcement also, because that will be required in the deflection check. So here we will first find out the AST provided, how much area of steel we have provided, because the spacing is taken as the reduced one. So therefore, the first we will calculate the area of steel provided, which is A5 into 1000 upon spacing provided. So putting the value here, we get the area of steel provided as 413.15 mm square. So you see, area of steel required was 402, but we have provided here 413, which is okay. Now we will calculate the percentage of main reinforcement, which is area of steel provided by the effective area of cross section, which is AST provided upon BD multiplied by 100. So putting the value here, we get uh, the percentage as 0.295. So here this D is basically the DX, because we are calculating a percentage for the shorter span. So for the shorter span, we use DX value. So 0.295% is the percentage of reinforcement we have provided along the shorter span. Now moving to the next, we will now calculate the reinforcement along the longer span. So till now we were talking about the shorter span. Now we will talk about the longer span. So here again we will use the same relation again, but this time mu will be replaced by the bending moment along the longer span, which is my. So putting the value of mu as my and equating this with the RHS, having ASTY unknown value. So solving this again, we will get the quadratic equation, and solving that quadratic equation, we get the lower positive value as 221 mm square. So this is the reinforcement that is required in the longer span. Now here you can see that this area of reinforcement required for longer span is lesser than the area of steel required for the shorter span. So therefore what we can do is we can have diameter of bar as 8 mm dia, although we have assumed 10 mm dia bar in the first step, but here because the area of steel is less, so therefore spacing will be very high. So to avoid that, what we are doing is we have assumed lower dia for the longer span reinforcement. Now using this 8 mm dia bar, now we can calculate the spacing by using the same formula we have used previously. So here putting the values, and we get the spacing of reinforcement as 227.33 mm. And for this area of reinforcement, for this spacing, we also need to check whether it is as per IS code recommendation. So again, referring to the same clause, and here again, we are supposed to have three values. First is the calculated value. Second one is the 3 times of effective thickness. So here, because we are calculating reinforcement for the longer span, we are going to use dy value. So 3 times of d, which is dy, depth for the longer span. So putting all the value here, we get 390 mm, and third value as 300 mm. So the shorter value in these three is this one. So we will adopt this spacing, and again we will round off this value to the lower side, which means we are providing main reinforcement along the longer span as 8 mm dia at the rate of 220 center to center. So that is the reinforcement along the longer span. Now we will provide reinforcement as the temperature reinforcement or the distribution reinforcement. So distribution reinforcement, as we have discussed in the previous lecture in the one-way slab also. So that's on the same line, we will have distribution reinforcement for this case also. So referring to this clause, as per IS code recommendation, the distribution reinforcement provided in the slab should not be less than 0.12% of the total cross-sectional area when we use Fe415 steel bar. So the area of distribution bar in this case would be 0.12% of the total cross-sectional area, which is B into D by 100. So by putting all the values, we get the area of distribution bar as 192 mm square. Now again, assuming that the distribution bar dia as 8 mm. So now here again we will calculate the spacing. So spacing is area of cross section of one bar, which is pi d square by 4. D here is 8 mm dia, and 1000 is the unit strip, and 192 is the area of steel for the distribution bar. So solving this, we get the spacing of distribution bar as 261.67 mm. And here again, we have to check this spacing, whether it is as per IS code recommendation or not. So here again, we will refer to this clause and check the IS code recommendation for the spacing of the distribution bar. So first is 261, which is the calculated value. Second one is, sorry, this will be 5 times. It will be 5 times. 5 times of effective thickness provided, which is 5 into D provided. And here this D provided will actually be DX. So the value is 700 and the third value is 450 mm. So the lesser value in these three is 261.67. So providing the distribution bar as 8 mm dia at the rate of 260 center to center. So this is how we calculate the distribution reinforcement. Now, next step could be checking the slab for shear criteria also. So shear criteria, how do we follow that shear criteria? I have already explained in the one-way slab. On the same way, we can follow the shear criteria here also, but I am skipping that step because generally slab is safe in shear criteria. So if it is mentioned in the question that we have to check slab for shear criteria also, then we do that. Otherwise, we can skip that step. So here I am going to the step where we have to check our slab for the deflection criteria. So deflection criteria as per clause 23.2.1 A and C point of IS code, it says that L effective by D provided should be less than 20 times of MF1. So the same step we have followed in the previous lecture. So on the same line we are doing here also. So we have to calculate MF1, which is modification factor, which is dependent on FS value, and FS value is dependent on the ASTX required and ASTX provided. So ASTX required was 402 mm square and ASTX provided was 413 mm square. So putting all the values here, we get the value of Fs as 234 Newton per mm square. Now, we also know the percentage of main reinforcement along the shorter span, which we have calculated in the previous step as 0.295. Now we have the percentage, we have the Fs value, we can easily calculate the value of MF1 using the graph of IS code. So again, moving to that page. So this is the graph that we are going to use to calculate the value of MF1. So our percentage of steel was 0.295, which is around 0.3. So which means we are here, and the curve for 234 Fs value, it will be slightly above. It will be slightly above the 240 curve. So it will go something like this. Similarly, if we extend this line and cut the curve, so it will something cut here. So the approximate value of modification factor for our case will be equivalent to 1.6. So moving to the slide again. So here we get the value of MF1 as 1.6. Now putting this value in this equation, L effective we already know. L effective will be of the shorter span and D provided will be actually the DX. So putting all the values here. So L effective is the shorter span, LX, and 140. So calculating this, we get the value LHS as 31.71, which is less than 32, which means our slab is safe in the deflection criteria. So here, the next step would be step 7, which is reinforcement sketch. So reinforcement sketch is provided here. So here you can see this is the plan, longer span, shorter span, and these are the reinforcement which is along the shorter span, which is 10 dia at 190 mm center to center, which is alternately bent up. Similarly, for reinforcement along the longer span, it is 8 mm dia at the rate of 220 center to center. Now, if we cut the section along the section AA, so here we get to know the details of reinforcement in more detail. So these are basically the reinforcement along the longer span, and these are the reinforcement along the shorter span. And here, these are basically the reinforcement as the distribution reinforcement. Similarly, here also, these are the distribution reinforcement. So this is how we make the reinforcement detailed sketch for the one-way and two-way slab. So this is for the two-way slab that we have just designed. So we will continue our discussion in the next lecture. Thank you.